Hello everyone, welcome to Discussing Tabletop for April 21st, 2015. Of course, this is our technically 73rd episode. We're just chugging along throughout them here.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, early happy birthday.
The Earth.
Earth. Yeah.
Tomorrow's days here. Yes. Yeah.
Well, happy Earthy birthday.
Birthday.
We're unfortunately joining us today, but today it's going to be the two of us talking a couple of topics. So why don't we dive into the we are discussing today? Of course. We're going to start with talking about Star Trek. The Star Trek Adventures, done by Modifius. They've released their fleet combat for free, which is an interesting because I guess it occurs in Star Trek, but not as much. So it is something that you could definitely do. Like you could have like big battles against Battleborg, wars with Klingons and Romulans, like that occurring in Trek Adventures. Cardassians, Dominion. So big fleet battles can occur. But I'm didn't have it in the core book. Well, since we didn't have it, here you go, it's free. Anyway, we'll dive into that more. It's free. There's Endless Viking Saga game released, Outpost Amazon, and then two from previous weeks that we're finally getting to, Fairy Tile and X-Files Conspiracy, because if not, we would have to just improvise a couple of topics. So we're going to talk about those, a bunch of board games after a little bit of role-playing games. Anyway. Why don't we, of course, dive into the first one here, the Star Trek Adventures with the Tactical Fleet Combat rules.
But I forgot my spacesuit.
They call it Red Alert. So, Red Alert, your gaming group can be exciting, three-dimensional tactical experience for RPG encounters. So that's the thing, is they're trying to make it three-dimensional, which is good for space combat. Federation away teams can do battle against Romulan warriors, Romulan strike teams, Borg drones, any number of threats in the far-flung galaxy. It sounds like it's very battle-oriented, but not just space battle, it's just battle in general. It's a combat rules.
Yes.
Which, I mean... I do feel like, why didn't you have combat rules in the first one?
Well, I'm sure they had some combat rules in the original. It's probably more in-depth.
Okay, I can see that, they're putting the combat rules a little bit more in-depth for us. Oh, jeez.
Because you got to think, if in a Star Trek game, it's probably not primarily focused for combat.
Yeah.
But maybe they had a large request of, hey, we want to do some space combats. Can we get some more specific rules on it?
Yeah, that's true. And it does sound like they also want to support, away missions that get into fights. Oh no! Those Klingon jerks are going after us.
Kirk's shirt got ripped off again.
Quickly! Away team! Shirt repair. Activate.
No. He ripped it himself. He just wants to show off his manly chest.
To all the women.
And Gorns.
Mm-hmm.
And then had to build a primitive cannon.
That cannon doesn't work. We know that for a fact. Mythbusters proved it.
I don't know what you're talking about. You telling me Kirk's not MacGyver?
Yes, and MacGyver wasn't MacGyver. Thank you, Unfunny One. Thank you. Oh.
They all roll a nat 20.
Oh, yeah. Avery space show needs a Kirk. It just happens. It's
but you know who the better Kirk was?
Who?
Riker. He got more women than Kirk did.
See, the thing is, when you're not busy being a captain and you're only the first officer, you have a lot more time to bang alien women.
and androgynous species.
And androgynous species. That's true. You never know. If they're highly androgynous, you could be just like, hey, baby, you look like you could be both male or female. I'm okay with this.
Well, there was the one episode of Next Gen where the whole society was androgynous.
Mm.
And he totally tried to convince them, but some of them felt like they were one or the other. And he found one who felt more like a woman and tried to seduce her.
Mm. Mm-hmm. And badass facial hair. Mm.
True. But that was later on, really. That wasn't early on.
Anyway, before we get too much into writing.
You don't have the badass facial hair. Stop it.
It counts. Thank you very much. Look, the power of Jesus' beard / Amish beard compels you. Because we all know how my beard evolves. It evolves first from here to Jesus, to looking like Jesus' beard, and then it evolves to Amish beard. I can go full Amish if I wanted to, and I don't even... I guess it's the Pennsylvania Dutch in me.
But
Or it's a German in me.
You'd have to shave the mustache then.
If I could shave the mustache, though.
That's more Amish then. Because the Amish don't normally have the mustache.
Well, I get the bushy beard like an Amish. I like how this has gone because talking about Star Trek to a Star Trek conversation. Anyway, yes. So, the Red Alert Adventures, I mean, if Modifius would cooperate and have me download it quickly for free, I doubt they'll do that because they'll never cooperate with me. When I try to pick up something. But just looking from the information they provide from the previews, if they would load up the reviews. Anyway, I guess the fact that, yeah, getting something that helps with the combat section of the entire rules is probably incredibly helpful. Again, though, I still feel like, even if it's Star Trek, you should have included this in the original book.
Like I said, it might just be an expanded battle system. They might have had a simplified one, and then, players wanted more options.
Something more advanced, because, just because you might get into, like, a phaser fight on a planet doesn't mean it's a normal thing, but getting into tactical battles with, as I say, Romulans or Klingons or Cardassians or something, is definitely something that maybe they're considering more than with this. I guess the reason that I'm less...
And at least it's free.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about it. The fact that this is free is probably the saving grace of this thing, period. If this was like anything else, if it wasn't free, I definitely would have been like, well...
Back in my day.
Well, I mean...
I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah, back in my day. If it wasn't free, I probably would have been less supportive of it, definitely, because it would have been like... yeah, ship combat was probably in the original. But I feel like phaser fights probably would have been mentioned. But yeah, I guess that making it a little bit more front and center is what this is. And again, it says it's free. It makes up for the fact that they're putting this out. I guess free supplements are the way to go if you really need to add in something. And I'm liking that Modifius is doing this.
Yeah.
Granted, if at some point in time they would print it with a book with a lot more stuff, I might still be okay with it. But we would have these free rules that someone would need anyway. So, cool on them. Yay. They do say, like, you need the actual one core rulebook at least.
I am downloading them as well.
Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna wait to do that.
And they're downloaded.
Yay. Modifius was hating me the other week. No, I started downloading something for free. So maybe it likes you right now.
Rules of play, starting the game, the battlefield, weapons and equipment, missions, and tokens. Ooh.
How many pages?
Looking. Give me a sec. 23.
Wow.
Although the 23rd page is tokens that you can cut out.
Still, that is a lot of pages.
Well, it has some like minor missions already set up.
Yeah, I guess examples of play is the best way of explaining that.
Yeah, it does have, weapons and equipment.
So actually, that seems pretty cool. It's a lot of pages for free that's giving a good amount of information, and even like examples of it is definitely very useful to someone that wants to figure out how this system works. Because again, it's Star Trek. Combat isn't your main focus, but it could be. Think of like if you wanted to play in like the Dominion War. That would be kind of awesome to play in. I like referencing Next Gen. What can I say? But you're gonna get into a lot of like.
Well, Dominion War actually would be DS9.
Yes, but it's the same time period, I guess. Those three were all kind of same time period, and Voyager too, technically.
Yeah, around the same time period.
Yeah, but yes, DS9 era / a little bit at the tail end of Next Generation was at least connected to it to a degree.
Ooh, they even talk about fighting in Jeffrey tubes and turbo lifts.
do turbo lift. Do.
Jeffrey. But they have everything from unarmed strike to different bladed weapons, knife, blade, and then heavy blade.
That's true.
And then phasers 1, 2, and type 1, 2, and 3. 3 is the phaser rifle.
Okay.
Pulse grenade, disruptor pistol, and disruptor rifle.
Ooh. But that's it. There probably could be more weapons, but I guess that's your basic here's a good smattering of stuff you can work with for most encounters that you'll need to worry about.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. This is a lot of basic information, and it's allowing you to expand out in an area that I guess they didn't expand with a large number of pages. Basis for working it. And, I mean, again...
Oh, God. You haven't downloaded it yet, have you?
No.
There's, one of the pictures they have, because they do pictures with the actual, really well-done tokens.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 Romulans, Nurse Chapel, Dr. McCoy, and Uhura. Uhura is tipped over. Dr. McCoy is standing above her like this. And Nurse Chapel's pointing to her tricorder.
Well then.
Why 3 Romulans surround them. It looks really funny.
It's quite a show they're putting on for the Romulans.
But they do also go into the miniature scaling system. So, I mean, there is a lot of information they're giving.
Yes. So
I think that's what it is they probably just didn't go into a lot of detail in the core book, and people wanted, it looks like people wanted more
options.
Information.
Information that they could expand upon. So yeah, and offering it for free is definitely really goodwill. Modifius does a good job with things like this, so kudos to Modifius for another one that actually I feel like is a great idea. If you're
also, their miniatures are amazing.
Cool.
Sorry, just had to add that in there.
They're very nice art on them.
Well, I think they're paint yourself ones, but the ones they have painted in the book and as examples are extremely well done.
Cool.
You can see creases in their fabric on their clothes.
Ooh, nifty.
You might have to do the Picard maneuver.
Well, the Red Alert book, the Red Alert Rules, is out for free now. So if you're doing Star Trek Adventures, I definitely recommend you get the Red Alert Rules, because as the GM or a player even, you might want to know a little bit more about combat rules. Because maybe you're the security officer and might have to get into a fight some point in time. Or maybe you want an adventure where you have to deal with hostile aliens, hostile creatures. Or just something like, oh hey, Romulans are competing with you. There's a lot of storylines that would add in the possibility for combat, and so getting it, definitely a good idea. Definitely expands upon this. So, cool. Kudos to them. Alright. So, now that we've had our big role-playing game fun, let's talk about some of our, board game fun. Because we got a lot of board games to cover today. So, Endless Pass of Viking Saga is the first one out here. from WizKids. Alright, it's out now. It's supposed to take 30 minutes to play, 14 and plus. I can try to get these rules quickly. Hopefully, they'll download successfully. It has 155 cards, and then a bunch of tokens and a rule book. It's $25. For 155 cards, not bad. They're all action cards. You fight the scaly endless to gain glory, is what players are doing. It's with weapons, runes to aid you defeating the endless, as well as healing yourself. You use action cards like attack, defend, evade, steal, and hide to defeat, evade, or defend against the endless.
Real Vikings don't hide.
Yeah. Whenever endless are not defeated, they continue to plague the other Vikings as they walk the pass. You also
endlessly?
Yes. You may also battle other Vikings. You are battling for glory and a place in Valhalla. And last Viking standing, or the first to acquire 10 glory, while surviving the turn, will win the game. If none of the players survive, the player with the most glory will be declared the conqueror in Valhalla. As you all die and go to Valhalla, one of you will at least gain some glory.
Nope. Sorry, you actually didn't make it to Valhalla. You went to the other place.
Oh, it might just be... I don't know, because it wasn't Hell, the lord of it, so it might have just been actually Hell or something, but it's spelled H-A-L.
I think so.
That wasn't... I'm bad with my Viking mythology.
You need to get better with your Viking mythology.
Well, if I watched, because the new God of War game came out, and it's Viking mythology, I could watch some people play that, since I'm not going to get a PS4 anytime soon. Learn some Viking mythology.
Neither am I.
Nope. Learn some Viking mythology. Alright, so this is an interesting one. I mean... The fact is, I don't know if they necessarily timed this one purposefully, because the God of War game came out this week and this one came out this week, and that's Viking mythology. Did they time it out that way, or is it just by chance? If it's just by chance, it's really good chance. I'm going to say that one there. You know? A Viking-based, card game coming out the same week as that. Vikings would want to go to a place where they're training forever, because they're Vikings. And
it is Hell with one L.
Okay, hey, I got it right. Sometimes.
The Norse Hell means hidden.
Mm-hmm. No Valhalla for you.
It's also referred to as Helheim, the realm of Hell.
And Hel, who watches over it, is the daughter of Loki.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Hel, who watches over Hell.
Oh,
Look,
hell.
Vikings are confusing sometimes and weird, but they're Vikings. We'll live with them. They murdered, pillaged, and raped their way to history.
Wouldn't you do the same?
Probably not as much of a bunch of those things.
Come on, I know you'd pillage.
I'd probably pillage. Pillaging is fun. I'll stick with the pillaging. Pillaging is a good time.
Pillaging is a good time. We'll quote you on that.
That's like a quote. That's a quote from me. Pillaging is a good time. Oh, God.
What are we going to do with you?
I don't know. Nothing good.
At least you didn't choose one of the other two and say it's a good time.
I was not going anywhere near the other two. I knew it was a bad reason, a bad plan to do that one for those two. I'm like, I'm just going to avoid that. Anyway, so I was saying some stuff about this game. Yes. Anyway, so this seems like an interesting game in general principle, I do have to say. Just because it's a Viking game, cool. Granted, like, a lot of the seemingly mechanics seem like very standard cooperative, or well, I guess competitive board game mechanics. I was gonna say cooperative there for a second, but it's not technically, it's not cooperative.
Semi-cooperative?
Yeah, because I guess you can fight the endless together. It's just more like only one of you can get the glory kind of thing.
Well, you fight the endless, and then you trip your partner, in front of one of them to stop it. Oh, sorry. I can't think of a Norse name. I almost said Thor, and that would be weird.
Careful the links on Funny One. I'll check that. No, I can check that and repost that, possibly. Anyway, and Norse mythology is always fun to do stuff with, as I'm trying to get this image here successfully. Was it Twitch link? Oh. Apparently. This subregion is not being cooperative for getting the picture of endless, Huh. I'm trying my best, guys, to get you an image of this game, but it's just not, like...
Cooperating?
No.
It doesn't like you.
Apparently not. But, oh, I'll just try it from here and see if it works. Anyway, so I'll have to take a look at that in Discord. But Vikings, always interesting one, because there's things about like Vikings and their culture and stuff that you like think about them, and yes, they have a very like dark kind of history that's, describe it as terrible, maybe. They were never really, the good guys. Vikings did a lot of bad things.
Oh, they were so huggable.
And, again, there has to be a timing here or something. The luck just can't exist. If they have a Viking game coming out the same week as a big Viking-based game, Viking mythology-based game, and there's a lot of Viking mythology probably put into this. If you're fighting an endless hordes for glory and Valhalla, I mean, at least they're avoiding a lot of the Viking culture and going for the more honor and glory section of it, rather than the pillagey, murdery, rapey kind of stuff that they did on the background when they went and basically were pirates. Vikings were pirates. That's what we have to tell you today, kids. Vikings were effectively pirates. They're pirates who also conquered area and left their children behind in many places. Also took everything and murdered everyone. They were pretty terrible. There were a lot of terrible Vikings. Okay, kids?
Don't trust the Viking? Is that what you're telling me?
Never.
What about on St. Swithin's Day?
Mm-mm.
Not even on St. Swithin's Day?
They'll take out your throat.
That's not a way to act on St. Swithin's Day.
The Vikings. I do like it's hard for everyone to lose, though everybody can technically die. That's an interesting mechanic to this game. I'm bad at eating today because I don't have you and Worm to distract people.
I'm going to slap you.
I wanted to finish lunch. I streamed until like 12:15, 12:30.
Well, whose fault is that?
It was hard to disengage. I was at war, people. War. I technically lost the war, but I only lost the war because I ended up in status quo.
But bastard. War. What is it good for?
I wanted to dominate those stupid, like, bird people. I conquered...
See what you get for dominating people?
I conquered 75% of their territory, but, like, apparently a war had gone on too long and my people were tired of it. So now I have to conquer someone else in the medium so I can invade them from multiple angles instead.
Leave the bird people alone. What did they ever do to you?
They conquered other people that I was going to conquer. Uh-huh. Jerks.
They're bird people. Be nice to them.
Yeah, I'll conquer them next time.
Maybe they'll sing you a song.
The song of death as I rain my battleships down upon them.
You're a horrible, horrible person.
I am. Anyway, enough of me raining death upon the bird people in Stellaris. Which I will. Jerks. Anyway. So, Endless Pass of Viking Saga. If you enjoy a little bit of Norse mythology in your games, light Norse mythology, I would call it, from what we've seen about it, and heard about it, read about it. It's not like in-depth Norse mythology. You're not going to get that. But if you want a little bit of stuff, you can get it here. And if you want a game that's all about, like, you can fight each other, or you can just ignore each other and play against the game and see if you win or not, that's fine too. I do like how there's the option of you can just all compete for glory and see who wins, or you can beat each other up if you really, really want to. Those are always fun options because, again, like, I'm more of the... I usually don't go after other people, but I'm ready to fight back in case you do bother me. But, anyway. So, Endless Pass of Viking Saga is available now by WizKids. Why don't we, though, continue our sort of tour of stuff with Outpost Amazon. So, Outpost Amazon. I'm getting a lot of pictures of the cards, but it's like... Here we go. You and the rest of your team are scientists. You're going on expedition to Amazon. You must ration supplies wisely, dealing with the mysteries of the wilderness, and explore, basically, the area. It's a cooperative game where everyone either wins or loses as a team. And in order to win, all of you have to survive until you reach the end of the expedition deck. If a single player is knocked out, everyone loses.
There's been strange creatures that have been caught on night vision cameras.
So apparently this is another of the Outpost game series, which I think I've heard of them, but I don't know a lot about them off the top of my head. So I'm assuming all of them are similar, that they're cooperative games, except they have different themes, different things that you're facing against. And they do have something new about this one, where players can score points based on the number of creatures they capture during the game. So basically, similar to how Castle Panic, you can either play pure cooperative or semi-cooperative, where, yes, you want to try to win the game, but whoever gets the most kills and points technically is the winner. You can do the same here, apparently. Which, I mean, isn't a terrible thing for how you have the option. Personally, like, I would play these games fully cooperative. I like these games better fully cooperative, but I know there's people out there that would like a little bit of that competitive edge deep in there. I know there's people that pay with Castle Panic the competitive version of it, Now, you're only getting 30 minutes, 2 to 6 players, so not a huge amount of time. Outpost Siberia seems to be the other one that they've really had. You get a fair number of cards and tokens. I do not see the... What? You can say something?
Ooh, I want to be Jamie. He has a giant, awesome red beard.
Yes. All the characters are very interesting. And they've got a lot of they each have their own once per round abilities. Let me throw up Expedition... or Amazon Outpost here.
You can be Tanya Joy. Or Co.
No.
Bueno.
Oopsie. I'm clicking on stuff I shouldn't click on. I blame the Shules.
You're a Shul.
Hey, there we go. Outpost Amazon. Hey, everybody can look at it. I have to readjust this every time, just because, like, I'm assuming, like, in another week, what I should do is I should just set up that each browser window is customized. I don't know. I'd like to have a whole bunch of them in, like, 5 browser windows I can switch between or something like that and pop them all in front. But anyway.
2 to 6 players.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's an interesting kind of game. Apparently, like, the entire concept of exploring an area, going through some problems, overcoming difficulties as a team. They've got the funny multi-jaw snake there or something on the cover. Is this like jaw splitting into like 4 or 3?
3. The lower jaw splits in half.
But no, if you look at it, it's got like two like almost bottom mandibles, and then the kind of like hooks on the two bottoms.
Yeah,
it's weird snake mutant. You're facing snake mutants in the Amazon.
Maybe it's a vampire snake.
Maybe it's Quetzalcoatl.
No, he's not quaddly enough.
He's not Aztecian deity enough?
Yes. Or quaddly. It's a new word.
But I guess it would be Incans, because Aztecs Mesoamerica.
Yes.
That's Mexico.
Quaddle.
Mm-hmm. Something in the... What?
What do you mean about?
Because they could be using some Aztec stuff in the Amazon jungle, even though it's inappropriate.
You're inappropriate.
Well, that's besides the point. I'm always inappropriate.
I'm going to put you in a cage card.
Sexy time dance.
No. Just no. My eyes. I am blinded.
We gotta lose it without Worm here.
I played the snake bite card on you.
You're gonna have to suck out the poison.
No, I'm not. I played the snake bite card on you and walk away.
Quick, suck out the poison.
Ask the snake to do it.
Nope, you gotta do it. You're the only one that can do it. If I die, we all die.
I'm fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is a collaborative game.
And then I steal your supplies. Ooh, I needed a new pair of boots.
Hey, those are my boots. I haven't died to the snake poison yet.
Ah, you don't need them anymore.
I think I'm getting over it.
Ooh, free bowl.
That bowl was free.
Anyway.
So,
before we go too far into insanity.
We haven't already?
Okay, before we go further into insanity.
Bah.
The funny part was when I first saw the name at Post Amazon, I was thinking it was going to be about Amazons. I want some Amazons.
It could also have been about Amazon, the, company.
No.
We're shipping. We're working together as a team to ship out packages to people.
Ooh, I got the drone upgrade.
Ooh, I'm in shipping. Oh, you're in receiving? Lucky dog.
I got promoted to a corporate. Haha.
Aha, you won the game. I guess I'd be winning the game being promoted to corporate. Oh my god. Why is this like a concept now that I'm like basically putting together? Post Amazon, where you're working at Amazon in order to earn points in order to get into corporate.
There you go. New game idea. Whoever wants to build it.
It's yours. You just have to clear it with Amazon. I'm sure they would love to promote. Oh wait, we're here on Twitch where our overlords are technically Amazon. Oh great and powerful overlords of Amazon. I give you this game idea. Please use it wisely.
Please do not crash your drones into my face.
Revenge drones for being a dick. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Outpost Amazon. It's a cool game. It looks interesting. Cooperative games are always fun. And though jungle ideas have been done before. I don't think we have a lot of, like, you're a scientist in the jungle studying creatures and things like that. That's definitely a little different than most jungle adventure games, because most of them, I would say, would be, like, exploring ruins or something. I'm sure you could come across ruins with cards, but that's not the point of your characters being there.
It might be even legendary about those hidden temples.
There could be a giant face that talks to us about, like, you know, exploring one of those, and then there might be guys to capture us, and we'll have to use these coins that we earned during a number of physical challenges in order to fend them off to claim some kind of treasure and get the prize.
I'm a blue barracuda.
Purple parrot.
What was the monkey? Wasn't there a monkey?
Green monkeys, red jaguars, silver snakes.
Yes. See, they should have been mauve monkeys. They ruined the alliteration.
They did. Well, it was also like red jaguars. Like silver snakes work, purple parrots, blue barracudas.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I can't think of a color that starts with J.
Yeah, they had jaguars and monkeys.
You could have had mauve monkeys.
Yeah. But J for jaguars, I don't know. I think it was only 5 teams. There might have been a 6th, but I'm forgetting it if there is. So, whatever. Up yours, Legends of the Hidden Temple.
It could have been J Jaguars.
Oh, yeah, J Jaguars. Uh-huh. That would have excuse to be green.
Yeah, and they could still use green. It just would have been the Jaguars would have been green, and then you had the monkeys as mauve.
Was there an orange one? I don't remember all the teams. I don't remember. Anyway, we Legends of the Hidden Temples it and got off of Outpost Amazon. Anyway, so Outpost Amazon, it's out now if you want to check it out, if you want to enjoy some cooperative team-based games and have a good time. So why don't we move on, of course, to Fairy Tile, which is done by Ilio Games.
Orange iguanas.
The iguanas. I forgot the orange iguanas. I knew there was orange.
And that should have been indigo iguanas.
Yes, indigo iguanas. But isn't that kind of the same? I guess that would sort of be different colors. I don't know. They'd be too close then.
I'm just trying to keep it illiterate.
I know you are.
The alliteration.
Anyway, so Fairy Tiles for 2 to 4 players, 8+. You're entering a magical kingdom. There's princesses, knights, dragons, etc., etc., and you have to help discover the kingdom. Help move further and further to fill their destiny in the story, page after page. You're placing new land tiles into play and moving the princess, knight, and dragon across the places such as mountains, forests, and plains. Help them have extraordinary adventures by accomplishing objectives written on the pages of your book. As soon as you complete an objective, develop your story, and read the pages of your book aloud. The first to read all pages of their book wins the game. So, effectively, this is a very interesting one. Because you're placing tiles, because there's 15 land tiles, the 3 character figurines, 36 page cards. And you can have 4 players. So I'm guessing you get a number of pages, like maybe 4 per player. That way it'd be like, there's going to be variety in what pages you get, what story you want to tell every time. And the object will be to, like, place the tiles so that you can tell the story and finish it out. And that's kind of interesting that we're all competing to tell stories in this one. Almost like we're all building a fairy tale that each involves princess, dragon, knight. Now there was a...
I want to hang out with the princess dragon, who's also a knight.
Sounds like something you'd find on, like, the Disney Channel or something. For maximum inclusion or something. I don't know. It's $30 for the game. For tiles, miniatures. The miniatures look pretty nice, is the thing I got to say about this one. They have some pretty nice miniatures. I mean, it's not a lot of cards.
No, but the miniatures are nice. Yeah.
Miniatures are nice. It's got a bunch of cards and tiles.
Oh, the cards are really... I like the artwork because it's kind of almost like stained glass style.
Yeah, it's like a cartoony stained glass, I would call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has some, like, very angular lines like a stained glass would, but it doesn't have, like, a lot of the, like, thickness of stained glass would. So it almost makes it, like... It makes it interesting. And I like how, like, all the different stories have very different cards, because you can just see from the promo cards they also put out, if you pre-ordered it. Oh, pre-order promos.
The knight and the dragon meeting on the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Battled out. Mm-hmm.
And then the dragon falls on the village and explodes.
Only one of our D&D games.
Yeah, I really like the artwork. On Board Game Geek, they have a lot of the like up close picture of just the artwork,
Mm-hmm.
and it is really well done.
Let me try to get an image of this from Elo Games because I gotta get to their site here. Yeah, the artwork is definitely very good. I want to get a picture of this box here for you guys at home here. Hey, I got to a point where I can get it easily.
Yay, and the villagers.
Well, the villagers are kind of dirty and ugly, so, I mean, we just let them do their thing.
Got burninated by the dragon.
Who burninates the countryside, burninates the peasants, and their thatched roof cottages.
Was it originally made in another country?
Maybe. ELO Games, I think, might be international.
Okay, because some of the cards they have on Board Game Geek are in another language.
The thing is, they could be looking at the thing is, like, we have to consider, like, when you're looking at some of these games, they could have produced in Europe first, so it's really hard to say. Like, the Settlers was in Europe way before it was in the U.S., so I'm sure there are some foreign language ones that you could see. But granted, there's not a lot of, like, differences because...
But it settled here.
Yeah, well, that's true. But there might be, this one might have been produced somewhere in Europe first before being released here in the U.S. Now being displayed. I have to remember which way I'm pointing here with my screen. I don't know. It looks like an interesting concept for a game. It has a different kind of feel to it because each of you are trying to complete a story. And the thing is, you very well could either help someone else in their own story or interfere with it. And you never know because each person, I guess, maybe has their own story that they're kind of like revealing.
Well, I think you have your own cards.
Yeah, you each have your 4 own cards, which you sort of have to do. Like, you have to get everybody to a mountain, or everybody to this thing, or that thing. So, it's not supposed to be played very long.
Everyone to the ghetto.
I don't think there's a ghetto token in this game. It just doesn't seem like there would be one. Maybe the medieval ghetto, which is like a crappy village. Everybody to the crappy village down the lane. Where the peasants are the ugliest and the dirtiest of all.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not rejoicing.
30-minute game.
Yeah.
8 plus for age and 2 to 4 players.
Yeah. It's not a bad little game. It's very interesting. It seems like an interesting concept for a competitive game. And it definitely does things a little differently than a lot of other games, which I think is why it makes it a little more interesting.
Yeah.
I'd recommend checking it out. All right. Let me try to find this one quickly.
X-File.
Board game. Everything. It's IDW again, so that won't be too difficult to find quickly and efficiently here, because IDW does that kind of thing. Anyway, it's X-Files.
Everything is connected.
Yes. Conspiracy theory game. And as soon as I could, like, get some more information. It says 3 to 8 players. 20 to 60 minutes. And it's basically about another unbelievable case. Agent Mulder finds himself in a familiar seat, directly across from Spears at FBI. Scully urges him to tell a story to the panel that would accept.
Mulder's need to believe is... no.
Yeah.
Mulder's need to believe is too great.
Yeah. So, players apparently will take turns as Mulder as they provide clues to explain the conspiracy theory to the FBI. Okay. And reputation. Yeah, reputation is everything. They're more interested in voting with the room rather than the gut of the superiors. Okay. So you read together a conspiracy. and supervisors must deduce the way the rest of the room will vote. Only because the thing worse than being the outlier is being a nutcase like Mulder. Okay.
Oh, it includes a second game mode.
Yeah, based on Jose Chung from one of the most famous episodes from Outer Space. As your witness for a paranormal event, and Jose Chung must look at all the evidence provided and create a complex narrative ties to the story. Hurrah!
Thank you, Jose Chung.
Yes, Jose.
Huevo.
Okay, I'm gonna stop now before it gets even worse because I think we're going down a
weird path.
A weird path here, and it's probably better to not go down a weird path.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the game itself as a sort of a 3+ player game looks interesting. It looks like it's got a complexity. And now the question is, like, is it a... I mean, like, they've had a revitalization of X-Files back in recent years.
Well, they did more... They did another short miniseries of it not too long ago.
They've done a couple of these now. I think they've done at least 2 years of these, like, miniseries kind of things.
I was never big into the X-Files, though.
I mean...
I've seen a few, but...
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of agree with you. I was never quite as big as I'm sure other folks were.
I'm also not a big conspiracy person, so...
Yeah. So, I mean, these things, like, just in a general setting, kind of lead away from us. But it doesn't mean it's not a bad thing.
No,
I'm sure there are a lot of X-Files fans out there, and, you know, now that the series is back... Maybe it's a revitalization for people getting to check it out and actually, you know, this game, it's a good time period, I would say, to do it. If they did it a couple years ago.
It would have been weird and probably fell on deaf ears.
Yes, but with the kind of revitalization, it's the kind of great time to do it. The only unfortunate thing here is I'm not as 100% sure on gameplay because it's IDW and they do not show a lot, and they certainly do not give...
They show the
rules.
box.
They show the box, give a synopsis, which is probably what you read on the back of the box, some basic information, and they call it a day.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how you... Because you take turns weaving the tale. So I'm guessing because it looks to be card-based from some of the pictures I've seen, it has to be that you're playing cards in order to weave the tale. And everybody's got to work off of what's going on. And there's also got to be like a voting methodology, which I'm not sure how that would work. There's a difficulty to this game because it does seem like there's a lot of cooperation and also like secrecy stuff. So it is something like it's got a level of stuff like a secret Hitler or resistance or werewolf where there's always secret roles or secret ideas. And in this case, it's how you would support or vote for this. Which it sounds like, you know, maybe voting for it can necessarily be a good thing for you, you know, like supporting Mulder's conspiracy, but it also can be a bad thing. So it's like a weird. I think
it is. You have to try to read how everyone's going to vote, and you want to vote with the majority.
Okay.
Because if you don't, you come out looking like the nutcase.
But so if like basically a story that seems very believable has been put out there by Mulder, you're gonna have to kind of like, well, maybe I should vote for it then, because this one we could just pass off, you know?
Right.
Well, if it's, like, very out there, maybe it's one that people don't want to do. And I guess that's the way you have to kind of play the cards to make it more difficult to vote, in a way. Or, like, weave the story, should I say. The point will be to make it difficult to vote one way or the other.
Right. I vote both ways.
Oh, yeah. And I do like how they have a second game mode where it's similar stuff, but they're basically like using an example from the show as a storyline. It's like you've got your basic one, which could be any kind of episode of the show kind of thing, and then they got one that's a specific episode, and maybe there are other things they could set up with other specific episodes which might work even more if they give some alternate game modes using the same stuff they have. That'd be interesting if they could do that without very little work, or for small expansions or something, you know, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even with the Resurgence, though, I just don't know. It's like this time period, I know it works to put it out, but even then, I just don't know if it's as popular as it was to warrant more products like this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, people, it was a bit, if they would have came out with it, I think when they first, like the year they first renewed it.
Yes.
That might have been the best time.
But
it's still not a bad time, but that might have been the best time because there was a lot of hype around it.
Yeah, when the Resurgence really started up, because it's been a couple of years now.
Okay, so I did find a few small pictures here. It looks like there's two decks. There's an evidence deck and a conspiracy deck. So you might be trying to play the conspiracy and then try to back it up with something from the evidence deck to convince people to vote a certain way.
All right. So you're basically trying to lay things out like this makes sense here. We can kind of build it like this. Here's where the kind of direction you should go with it because of this is makes sense and could be supported.
Right.
That's interesting.
I know. It's like here's some evidence that backs this theory up.
I was trying to find out how many exact seasons they have now, and Firefox has been less than cooperative. Yeah. They just the 11th season just started up. This year in January, because the 10th season was the revival.
Okay, I found an example here. So here's the conspiracy. A flight attendant is murdered in a lavatory during the drink service. None of the passengers saw or heard anything, and some of the evidence out was the internet, which would make no sense. FBI mole and mashed potato sculpture.
So we're going Close Encounters of the Third Kind here with this one? With mashed potato sculpture? With mashed potato sculptures. All right. I think that's...
So I think that's what it is you're a conspiracy's put out, and then you're trying to play evidence to make people vote a certain way.
Okay. So I'm taking my turn as Mulder, and a conspiracy is basically dealt to me. And I try to present evidence maybe from cards from my hand or something to be like, this is why you should all vote for it. I'm trying to back this up. I think
it's almost kind of like Cards Against Humanity in a way.
Yeah, it does sound a little like that. Interesting.
In how you play it.
Yes. There's some kind of prompt, and then but it's like a reverse Cards Against Humanity, I'd almost call it.
Oh God, one of the evidences as Alex Trebek impersonator.
Well, I'm using this Alex Trebek impersonator who happened to have been the person that murdered the mysterious flight attendant.
Oh God.
But,
I don't know what that would be evidence of what.
But I mean, yeah, when the 10th season came out, that would have been the time to release this very soon. Either because they announced it ahead of time, you could have come out with something then. This is being released during the 11th season, and I'm guessing it's probably not going to have as good a ratings or as good as Resurgence as the 10th season was. We've probably already lost people. Even so, it was still a Resurgence and a re-release. We're probably losing people. We probably didn't have nearly as many people as the old fan base anyway. So it's we've been going downhill. If it had been before the 10th season, before they even announced it, then it would have been a terrible game to put out because the show had been effectively long since dead,
Right.
Maybe around when the movies, but the movies, from what I've heard, weren't that really good. Mixed bag or something. So it's like, yes, they just don't. I guess there isn't really there was a great timing and they missed it completely, and so now they're not the bad timing, but they're not a great timing for the game.
But at least now we have an idea of how it's played.
Yes, we have an idea how it's played. It's reverse Cards Against Humanity. Basically, there's a prompt from probably a random deck. You, as Mulder, have to back it up, and then everyone else has to vote whether they believe it or not, and you don't want to be the minority.
Yeah, because what I can figure from the game, from how, looking at like people playing it, there's some pictures of that. It looks like everyone has hands with evidence in it. And it looks like there's one card flipped over from the conspiracy deck. So I think a conspiracy comes out, and then whoever's turn it is, they're playing evidence out, and then everyone has to vote. Okay, I believe that, or I don't.
Yeah. So that's a very interesting. It's a very interesting version of a kind of concept of game. As I said, like, I don't think we get a lot of that reverse Cards Against Humanity, and I'm sure like what it would be is like. Because the evidence doesn't seem like a lot, is maybe that like I play like the Alex Trebek and I add like a story to it or something as to why this would make sense. The Alex Trebek impersonator.
Yes. Or a potato sculpture. Or
a potato sculpture. That like that it makes it actual evidence. You have to explain it.
Well, see, if you look, the sculpture was made by actually using a knife and not a spoon. So that might have been the murder weapon.
But I mean, it might have been a knife there, even though one wasn't found, and there shouldn't have been one on the plane. That's the only way that this would have been produced. Therefore,
yes,
there must have been a knife, even if it was just a butter knife or something. Something stupid like that. You could definitely come up with a storyline, I'm sure.
There's conspiracies everywhere, sir. Everywhere.
Everywhere there's a conspiracy theory, and I'm just shitting on it. But X-Files Conspiracy Theory, Everything is Connected, is of course out now, and it does seem like a pretty interesting one to check out if you really want to.
Wait, I got one more.
Do you now?
See, Alex Trebek was on the flight, but it was actually an impersonator. He's the one who made the potato sculpture with a knife.
That Alex Trebek impersonator making potato sculptures with a knife. Anyway, why don't we move on? Let's move on to our normal segments, because I guess we managed to hit through all of the topics that we had from this week and from previous weeks. Go us. Let's talk about our Kickstarter Korner. Do you have one here to support?
Yes, I found the Pirates Flag, a Capture the Flag board game.
That sounds cool.
Pasting in chat. Toot.
Oh.
No yawning.
Sorry.
Okay, so they're made it decently way to their goal already. They still have 26 days to go. They're at 9,160 out of 15,000. So kudos to them. They have 253 backers already. So you're basically all pirates. And okay. I love the pictures of the pirates they give. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 pirates. 2 of them are Kickstarter exclusives, which is one a kitten pirate and one a puppy pirate. But those are the exclusive ones.
Yes.
So if you want to cuten up your game, you can only do it through Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's only actually 6 ships. You are in the Dread Sea.
Ooh.
See, so players take turns rolling dice to move their ships along the path, gathering supplies, battling for the flag. The pirate flag gives you lots of options on how to move, stop at a trading post, backtrack, and prepare an ambush, or speed up down a waterfall. I don't know how there's waterfalls in the sea, but
it looks like you're more like traveling down like
around
a river,
an island. Oh yeah,
like a river and an island. Maybe the point is like you're trying to get into the center of the island where the treasure is. It's like to kind of dock or something.
Every card. Well, one of the things that's unique with this game is there are no duplicate cards. Every card does something different.
That's cool.
So it's. I think that's interesting that you have that. The use of cards influence the game, added more strategy, blah, blah, blah. Trading posts. You can, the only time you draw cards is if you stop at a place, you draw a card. There's places on there. There's trading posts where you can discard a card to draw 2 new cards.
Ooh.
There's battle. You can make someone walk the plank. That's nice. When the player has...
Yarr!
When the player has the flag and is headed back for the Dread Sea, you can stop your movement on their location to initiate battle. Battles are 1 versus 1 die roll, with the highest roll winning. They must always be a clear winner. There are no ties in battle.
Yarr!
Let's see. Cards can be used in battle just as they can be used during movement. Oh, cards can be used at any time. So there's no time that you can't play a card.
That's kind of cool.
Not so fast. Quick fingers. Flip your dice to the opposite side. Nice. The minis do have a little flag holder that the flag can be placed into. The player who gets the flag off the board into the Dread Sea is the winner. Okay, so you're not in the Dread Sea. You're around this island trying to get the flag and get out of there with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, let's see, it's $29 US to get the game. Oh God, and apparently they have another game called Battle Goats, and another game called Take the Gold. If you do $55, you get Pirate's Flag, Battle Goats, and Take the Gold.
Well, good for them that they're at least spreading the love with their other games, but still. Interesting.
It looks like it could be a really fun game. They do have some stretch goals, but they don't have the actual goal numbers listed. It ranges from a thicker box, thicker board.
Well, I'm assuming because they're looking to actually get to their goal first before they're throwing out the stretch goals, which I commend folks that do that. That's something that's probably not a bad idea to do. So, cool.
So yeah. So it looks interesting, so check it out. Support it if you like.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm sorry. Actually, it's not a puppy. It's a Captain Goat from Battle Goats.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and the cat one is from their other game, Take the Gold. So those are crossover characters. That's why they're exclusive Kickstarters. Sorry.
Ah.
There you go. And now you.
Yes. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for throwing your support to me and my new one I want to talk about. Okay, I had a couple here, so I'm just gonna talk about maybe one of these, and I'll see if I feel like talking about another one, just because we don't have Worm here to add his 2 cents in. I kind of want to, if my Firefox would cooperate, mind you, because apparently it's being very uncooperative today. A Black Void RPG. It's a dark fantasy tabletop role-playing game about the fall and resurgence of humanity. Pretty simple there. It is pretty close to its goal. It's reached 21 out of 24,000, 20 days to go. So they're probably going to make it. Probably. It talks about in the days of Babylon, which was the greatest seed on Earth. Cataclysmic events on Earth, the tragic veil between reality and the void. Mankind's torn from their homeworld by void torrents, and the surviving people were scattered amongst the stars. Countless were lost and mass to perish. Over decades, the survivors and stragglers, ragged remnants of mankind's tried some of the lives in countless uncaring worlds. To go through the void currents. So it's a dark fantasy tabletop role-playing game. Pretty simple there, yes. Cataclysmic Earth tore humanity apart. Basically, the ages of Babylon. And now people are on like various planetoids and stuff and using like the void which tore them apart to travel in the various areas. So you're sort of using the terribleness that, you know, shattered humanity as a tool now at this point in time. Putting together the scope of it. They have a core book which is 400 pages, full color, hardcover, everything you need to know as a player or a game master, filled with art, novels, species and monsters, descriptions, rich lore, maps. Let me put the link in the description, in the chat, if chat would cooperate with me, which it probably won't because everything is hating me today when it comes to Firefox.
Everything is hating you?
Seems like it is. Seems like it is. And apparently they're Denmark monies. Whatever Denmark KKs are. So, I mean, that's like what the pledges are under. 30 is the basic PDF package. Okay, so $5 US, I gotta get this right here, is the basic quick start rules character sheet. You don't get a lot. $12 gets a PDF of the entire book, plus the character sheet, plus the reference sheets, plus a wallpaper. 38 gets you the digital core content package, plus a hardcover book. For 38, which is not a bad price for it. Granted, that might include shipping, because they don't say they're shipping friendly to anywhere in particular, so it probably does include some shipping. And you get a whole bunch of stuff if you go up to 59, which is their big one. It takes place in the distant past of humanity, with the devastated survivors of them. So it's your emissaries defending the enclaves of the last remnants of humanity. You travel the void. You venture to find Earth, lost cradle of humanity. Let's see here. It's all about exploration, struggling to survive, and will. So it's not like a lot of good versus evil. It's kind of like a strange cosmic poop basically landed on your head, and you gotta clean it off.
I hate when cosmic poop lands on my head.
Well, I mean, I don't know how better to describe a horrible void storm which arrives in Babylon and teleports humanity across the stars.
No, cosmic poop.
All right, so I described it really badly there. Really badly. All right.
Who took the cosmic poop?
No one did. The cosmos did. So you're barely fitting in as humanity. You're trying to deal with it. You're trying to travel, explore, you know, and deal with a little bit of what it means to still be human as you deal with a lot of the things here. Let's see here. Actions are single die roll, and it's a D12 system. So that's cool. Don't get a lot of D12 systems out there. Now we can roll it for something other than barbarian hit points or great axe damage. And they go into, there's a lot of variety for the combat gameplay and stuff like that, and the interesting settings, because you're dealing with like humanity revenants, and then you're dealing with the odd void places and the fact that you're on very alien worlds and things like that. So there's a lot of cool, interesting setting stuff to this game. Definitely. That I recommend it. As interesting and dark fantasy role-playing game, I'd recommend checking it out. So Black Void, core rulebook. It's up on Kickstarter, you can check it out. Yeah, the other ones are not as cool. I have a couple other role-playing games I was thinking I was going to mention. If you want to check out Shattered Tower and Dragon Heresy, I'll give a shout-out to them. They are cool, but I personally just didn't find them as cool. Doesn't mean that you might not. Anyway, why don't we move on, though, because I'm feeling awfully a lot like getting to the end of today's session, since we have already been way too silly. Our week in tabletop. So, Joe, how did your week in tabletop go?
I'm trying to think. I think the only thing we played on Saturday was Unfair.
Yes.
Which I kicked butt, especially because everyone, you and my girlfriend both got screwed over by some cards.
And
Some of the unfair cards.
And she went after me instead of you when you were in better
well,
position.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand she didn't really, like, notice that you were in a better position, but still.
I was kind of in the money.
Yes.
A lot.
Who's in the money?
I'm in the money. And then also, as Unfunny One is mentioning, we played Secret Hitler.
Heil the Hitler.
Which I don't... My luck of getting to be a fascist both times.
I know, that was kind of impressively bad luck. Well, we only had 5 players, and there was 2 possible, like, things each time.
I know, but still, it's just like I got fascist both times.
What's this game saying to you, Joe?
I am not a fascist.
I am not a fascist.
Okay. I have the weird combination of, yes, my dad's side of the family is German. My mom's side of the family is Jewish.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The first game, though, we did not elect Hitler.
Yeah.
The second game, we totally elected Hitler.
Yeah. As a card-carrying liberal each time, I won one and lost one.
I won one and lost one as a fascist, too.
Yes. There we go. We were both our same group, the same thing each time. You know, I would love to play that some more. We just should grab a couple more players or something, because that's always a very fun one. And it becomes much more dynamic when you got more players, too.
And I'm starting to create a character for your new game.
Yes, and Unfunny won both of them. Yes, that's accurate.
Yes.
You're apparently really good at Secret Hitler, then. Anyway, let's see here. What else did we do? I had no role-playing on Tuesday, no role-playing on Wednesday, no role-playing on Thursday. Oh my god. Wow. I don't think I did anything else this week. Now I'm thinking about it. Because
you had computer gaming.
Yeah. Like, Tiv got his stuff canceled. And then Bash and Frontier got canceled. And didn't have anything, really. I played a lot of Stellaris this week, but that's a video game and not tabletop. But, yes. You know, my giant anthropomorphic shrimp hordes are conquering the galaxy, one nation at a time. One star.
Your poplars?
No, because they're not very humanoid. They're way too humanoid to be.
Okay.
I actually look like just big shrimp men.
You're weird.
They're called shramp. The shrampian hordes.
That's weird.
They're shrimp monsters that are conquering the universe.
Okay.
Yep.
Are there ships in? Do their ships have to be flooded then?
No, because the storyline is that our planet, because we live on arid worlds, used to be an ocean planet, but all the oceans dried up, and so we were one of the species that survived in the ruins of the reefs. That's why our planet is called the Grand Reef, because there was like huge, giant like reefs, and that's why we grew up in those in the arid wastelands, adapting to being a land shrimp then. But ancient stories still tell of the seas which once existed on our homeworld.
Okay.
Yes, I came up with like an entire like thing here. Look, you have to add a little bit of storyline to your giant shrimp people.
But do they measure up?
I don't know, but they're still delicious. I'm sure my people would be delicious.
Is their arch enemy the lemon?
No, apparently the arch enemy is stupid bird people I try to conquer.
Well, birds might eat the shrimp.
Yeah,
wait, are they seagull people?
No, they're like dumb-looking bird people too.
It'd be awesome if there were seagull people. That would be hilarious.
Because everybody and their goddamn mother has a federation. So it's like every time I go to war, I'm going to war with like 3 nations. Dicks. Cranes might be.
If it makes you feel any better, my mom does not have a federation.
Oh, well, you know. At least that's one mother that doesn't have a federation.
She has 2.
That's way too many federations. What are you going to do with all those federations?
Federize.
Frederizers. The Frederizer. Nothing outlasts
Frederize. I said federize.
Nothing outlasts the Federizer. It keeps going and going and going.
You make my brain hurt.
You're welcome.
Normally I make your brain hurt.
I'm trying my best today. Look, you know, there are times and a place for brain hurting, and this is not one of them.
I'm gonna hurt your brain.
Anyway, so yeah, that was my exciting week. Lots of Stellaris, multiple games. So I think that's it for our week in gaming and tabletop.
Yes.
I don't think there's anything else tabletop-y that we can talk about that we could add in here. So it's time for our final segment of the day. Consult the table. You got any questions for us? Anything? We'll take it. We're not against answering any kind of friendly, tabletop-y, nerdy. You know, if you want our opinions on something like comic books or a movie coming out or some songs, we might have an opinion of it. So, yep. Questions. Any? No? Well, you can always send us questions at discussingtabletop@yahoo.com. You can send it to any of our Twitters. Mine, Joe's, Worms. You can send it to my Discord. Worms, Discord. You can leave it in chat. You can prepare it for next week. You can leave it when this video goes up as a VOD on YouTube. You can leave it out over there. Yeah, there's a billion places.
And you can dance if you want to.
You could leave your pants behind.
You cannot leave your pants behind, Matt. We have talked about this.
Who says I have pants now? Ooh, you don't know.
I don't want to know.
You don't know for sure, do you? Mm-hmm.
And as long as I don't have to see it, I don't care. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist. Poor Stream Niece.
Look, she's not anywhere near me.
And Stream Cat.
Stream Cat is also nowhere near me, so no one stopped by right now.
And now that you said that, you know what's going to happen.
Someone will show up. Look, I did discover today that I need to change one of my socks because it's got a hole in the bottom.
Well, that's better than the hole in the crotch.
That is a story for a different era. Thousands of years ago, people told tales of the crotch hole.
No.
That actually ended up sounding a lot weirder than
Yes. Let's not go there.
Alright, I'm ending this one. I'm ending this. This is done. We're done.
He's digging himself into a hole.
Wow! I'm sorry, that's Miami. CSI
Okay.
Miami, because I just remember I'm digging myself into a hole. I don't have sunglasses to do it. To do the whatever his face is, so that I can't remember his name, because my mom watched a lot of that. Anyway.
I declare this show officially weird.
It was a bit of a weird one. Alright, thank you everyone who joined us for this, I don't know, show? Weirdness?
May your crotches never get holes.
Yeah, like maybe never rip your pants in unusual places that you don't have to point out to everyone, or everyone points out to you.
Yeah, I don't think you had to point out to everyone. Hey, look!
Well, no, you pointed out, so I made it obvious that...
Yes! Well, I said, hey, Matt, you have a hole in your crotch, and you replied, look down, and replied, there's a crotch in my hole.
And we're strange without getting high.
Yeah, I did not celebrate the holiday.
I don't either. All right. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you once again for Joe for joining me. You can find him at his Twitter put in front of him. I think he probably is just going to support me because that's all he ever does. So you can see me here tomorrow morning where you will see some more of the Shrampian hordes kind of conquer the galaxy. There are plenty of more kingdoms to take over and vassalize or claim the territories of. Let's see here. I will also be back probably tomorrow evening for more Sundays at the tabletop, as we're going to be continuing our exploits there. Maybe we'll do some more Secret Hitler if we got a bunch of people. Maybe some other games. We'll find out. I'll have to decide and let people know tonight as I try to recruit some more folks. You can always check me out at my links below, which I have Twitter, Discord. Those are great places to contact me, see what's going on, just see what's going on with me. I, of course, have my YouTube side, which does have some content up on it that's coming up, not as much as normal, just because I'm still doing edits to the channel, but you can expect to return to a normal schedule relatively soon. As soon as I'm getting close to where I feel okay to get back to a normal schedule, basically. Close. A couple more series to edit out, and I'm feeling good about it. What else is there other than the YouTube? You can always subscribe there, follow here for great support, subscribe here for even more support, especially if you want the emote of the failure, Emperor Fail emote is what I got down below for mine. And I've got the Patreon if you want some other great rewards. Alright, I think that's everything. Did I forget anything?
No, I think you got it all.
Yay! Okay, great. And also, you know, check out Worm's stuff, even though he's not here, because he's our co-host and he does a lot of great things too. And he streams a bunch too. And he's my DM on Wednesdays, so definitely support him. Let me see if I can. Forget it. I was gonna put something in the exclam something in the chat, but Firefox has not been cooperating with me today. Something on my computer is slowing things down in Firefox. At least I'll play around with it in the interim. So, that'll fix. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining. Hope you have a great one. Hope you have a great time. We'll see you all here next week together. Hopefully Worm will be back with us, and you can see me at least tomorrow. Maybe Joe will join me tomorrow evening. We'll find out who joins us for tomorrow evening, and we'll have a great time, great rest of the weekend, and enjoy yourselves, folks, and I will see you all later. Goodbye!
Bye!